The old saying goes, like sands through the hourglass, so are the days in the mortgage and real estate business. I gotta tell you, I feel like we're living in a simulation. Speaking of simulations, how did Mr. Brady, afford his home on a salary while raising some other guy's 3 daughters? Oh, and getting a maid too. Let's talk about how we used to qualify borrowers. Basic qualifying about 50 years ago was based on 25% of your take-home pay, not your gross pay. That makes more sense. That means if you made $120,000 a year 50 years ago and you didn't, you could only buy a $209,000 home. Yet people at that time with stricter guidelines were buying homes in droves. Homeownership 50 years ago was at 65%, and now it's at 65.7%, meaning 50 years ago, homeownership rates were basically the same, yet your housing cost was less than half. It was less than half of what it is now. Proving what? The quality of life has gone down. That's how the Bradys owned their house with 6 kids on 1 income.
What do you think the average down payment is? All across the country. The average. What is it? I'll give you a hint. 30 years ago, it was $30,000. It isn't going to be good. Here you go. The average down payment is $63,000, more than doubled in the past 5 years. You never know when things start to go bad, but when they go worse, you know. There's not much more to say on this point.
Okay, now for some good news. 17% of sellers have slashed prices on their homes, and that's the highest number it's been since 2016. So loan officers and realtors, or loan officers, tell your realtors this. Suggest they keep their offers low. Lowball. Now is the time to lowball sellers. I think part of the problem is some realtors are just desperate to get their deals closed. And I get that because business is really slim right now. So they'll come in at a full price or near full price and maybe ask for some concessions. No, lowball the hell out of these properties. And I say this for a very strategic reason. One, you're going to get more offers accepted than you think. But more importantly, you're going to force prices down in that area. You see, when you lowball rather than asking for concessions and you get an accepted offer and that deal closes, you set a new comp that all homes around you in the future cannot ignore. That is going to be the new set price, the lower price for all the other houses. You help everybody out. You don't just set the price for the sale of that specific home, you set the price for everything. Let's take an active role in forcing prices down because that's the only thing that's missing from a hot market.
The market demands this because here's the alternative. Home prices are still rising 11% year over year, which puts housing affordability at a 30-year low with rates at 7 or higher, which is the highest since 2002. Now, if you want to find an affordable house, you'll want to start looking at Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Check out this graph. This is their housing supply since 2017. They have a 9.8-month supply inventory, and the numbers show no signs of stopping. They are squarely in a buyer's market, and prices still are not coming down.
Because realtors aren't lowballing offers when that's what the market demands. Now, check this out, loan officers. The best indicator to keep rates dropping, jobless claims. Now, jobless claims for the week ending February 22nd totaled a seasonally adjusted average of 242,000, up 22,000 from the previous week's revised level and higher than the Dow Jones estimated at 225,000. Now, in case if you're wondering, in Washington, D.C., new claims, jobless claims, totaled 2,047, an increase of 421 or 26%, the largest number for the city since the 25th of March 2023, meaning the media is blowing this whole Doge thing out of perspective. Now, here's the good news. You still have time as a loan officer. You need to talk to everybody who got an FHA loan in the past 3 years. You can go ahead and buy a list, guys. This is cheap. Call all those folks and tell them rates are dropping and you would like to get their loan on the books so you can pull the trigger when rates come down to benefit with a streamlined refinance. Get them on the books because here's what we also know. When somebody writes a loan with a loan officer, they stick with them like 98%. You can get your competition's loans as well. And we also know this. Trump is calling for a mass escalation of layoffs at the federal agencies, which means rates are going to come down. Get those FHA loans on the books right now while you still have time.
In a memo circulated on Wednesday, Trump laid out a 2-phase requirement for agencies. The first phase is for immediate and short-term cuts. proposals for which are due on March 13th. The second phase is for agencies to develop long-term reorganization and strategic transformation. Those plans are due on April 14th and are scheduled to be implemented by September 30th.
So jobless claims, they're going to rise. That's good. And folks, I gotta tell you, we're in a recession right now. I don't know if you know this, but recessions are always calculated and called after the fact. Personally, I think we've been in a recession for the past 4 years. I mean, I really do. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm right. But put it in the comments down below. Rates are going to go down. Inventory is going to continue to go up. The question is, are you going to do your part? As a real estate agent, lowball your offers and write your loans clean. And oh, by the way, don't miss or mess up any of your non-QM. This lack of affordability, the cure for a lot of it, and with the larger down payments that we talked about today, these are absolutely non-QM loans. There's a huge market for them. So talk to my friends at Oaktree. All you have to do is fill out the information down below, and they will help you out. Hope this helps.